So I finally got offered an IT job after 3 years of applying, and I'm gonna explain exactly what I did and what I think I could have done differently then versus now. And I'm also gonna explain why I am on the fence about even taking this job in the first place after 3 years of applying. So we're gonna get into the first one right now, and pretty much what I ended up doing was resume optimization and certifications and projects. So I'm gonna touch on all three. Resume optimization is very important in that you don't use AI, because I feel like a lot of people rely on using AI to write their resumes, and employers have gotten very, very good at being able to see certain trends in AI generated resumes versus human made resumes. And if you don't think that there's a difference, there typically is. There's little things inside of those resumes that just point to AI versus when you actually write it yourself. And all it does is show that you're authentic, and it just takes a little bit more time. That's all. If you have to get a second opinion, just go get that second opinion. And trust me, it will make everything a lot better for the employer in knowing that you are authentic. So with that out of the way, the next one is certs. Certs are super important. I have two certs right now, Net Plus and Sec Plus, both of which I feel like are kind of crucial if you want to get into the IT side of things. I'm not speaking so much on coding or software development or engineering or anything of that sort right now, and I'll get into that later in this video. I'm specifically talking about just IT infrastructure as a whole, but right now, what I believe is certs are extremely important, and they make you stand out very, very competitively amongst the market. And then the third one is projects. Projects are very important as well, and it kind of ties into everything because now it's showing that you can do the work. Maybe you do not have professional experience, you don't have corporate experience or small business experience, whatever the case is. You have experience in some matter, whether that's building a home network, whether that's setting up coding labs where you built an app, or whatever the case may be, a database. What I'm talking about is putting those projects on your resume, maybe attaching a README file somewhere that an employer can see it, and going through it that way. Because before I did any of this, I was just hitting it hard with a basic resume. Okay, that's all I was doing. Basically trying to get across the idea that I was studying because I'm currently in school for computer science, labeling my GPA, offering to show proof that I have that current GPA. And I think I had maybe one or two projects that were basic projects, but no certs, nothing really too glamorous. And I used AI to be able to write my resume the first time, which was a mistake because I feel like I got screened out a lot for doing that. So when I made those changes, probably about 6 months ago, I ended up buckling down, getting those two certs. Took me about 2 months to do so, of studying every day for about 2 hours a day, and was able to obtain those two certs. Once I attached those to my resume, as long as updated projects and rewriting my whole resume myself, I finally started getting replies back. I went for about 2 to 3 interviews, and my third interview ended up giving me an offer for what I'm about to get into right now, and that was as a Field Tech 1. So Field Tech 1 is basically, for this job, going out to charter schools and setting up network infrastructure. So racks, fiber, access points, and then a couple of other small time shit like printers or projectors or whatever the school may need. And then part of the time you're working remotely and you're handling help desk tickets as a tier 1 help desk. So that job in particular is what's been offered to me so far. Now I'm gonna get into why I'm hesitant on whether or not I'm actually even gonna take the opportunity itself. So the job got offered to me at a lower rate than what I'm being paid currently, and obviously I expected that. I did not expect to walk into a job making more than what I make now or the same as what I make now. It's about a $12 pay cut. So it's pretty substantial, but I'm thinking about it in contrast to, okay, I can go into this career field, and this is the good side of things. This is the good side of my brain telling me what I want to hear. So I can go into this field, get out of my current one, and be able to go head on, have the title as being in an IT sector or IT industry job, and gaining that experience, maybe getting another cert like CCNA. So I'll have 3 certs. And then after a year, I'll have my degree as well, and I can pivot into a better job like sysadmin, or maybe I can go more cyber and become SOC 1 analyst or whatever the case may be. But the other side of me is going, don't you remember reading all those forums and talking to all those people that you met that either knew somebody that got laid off, knew a sector or team that got laid off, or they got laid off because of AI coming and taking their jobs, and them talking about most of the entry-level jobs at their companies, which are bigger companies or mid-sized companies, basically having no entry-level jobs available, or the ones that were available were extremely overly competitive. So in thinking about that, it's so frustrating to me because here I was for the past 3 years applying. The first 2 years, I was applying maybe hit or miss, and then within the last year, I was applying every day, multiple times a day, for literally a year straight. I started looking for the entire state of Florida. I was willing to move to be able to take a job that at least pulled $60K a year. So after getting offered this job, which is about $50K a year, I was very excited to hear about the opportunity, but now I am more or less pessimistic than I was optimistic in the beginning. And I really don't know if I'm going to take it, man. I really don't, because right now I make $12 more than the entry level pay. And that's not even what I'm really concerned about, in all honesty. I'm concerned about my job stability within that company and within the whole industry itself, because AI is gunning for the IT industry so hard right now, and it hasn't proved more than ever as of right now. Like it's very, very real, and it's a extremely strong issue that is happening within that industry, because you just see video after video, post after post of different people getting laid off, and it's making me have second thoughts on even taking the job in the first place, because I don't want to end up like that statistic of people that are getting laid off. And I'm really going through almost a mental crisis, feels like an identity crisis of, do I identify as a blue collar worker and stay where I'm at? Or do I want to transition and start to identify as a white collar worker and transition to something that could end up being okay, and I could end up finding a niche that becomes AI proof for a while, to the point to where I can become valuable enough to where they won't want to let me go? Or do I go in there and after a year I go to find those entry-level jobs in a higher up position and they're all wiped out, or they're so overly competitive that by the time it would take me to become competitive enough to get that job, it's wiped out. So the trend that I'm seeing in my thoughts is, either way you look at it, the job itself will more than likely become wiped out in the end. And it's really, really shitty, because I've been studying for the past 3 years for my degree in computer science. And I know some of you guys out there are maybe in the same boat where you already have the degree. And now you're like, well, shit, what do I do? Because this is all I know. And I feel it so much more for you guys that really only know IT, and that's where your main skill set is. And maybe you don't have a trade, or you don't have a couple other skill sets. I really feel for you, because I couldn't imagine. I really couldn't. I mean, I'm very, very weary about putting my odds on me being able to advance quick enough to beat AI. let alone if it was my only skill, I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably be shitting my pants, honestly. So for those of you out there that are dealing with that, just know I feel you, and hundreds of thousands of other people out there feel you, and we're all going through it together. I'm not exactly going through it right now in the sense of that I'm in that industry already. It's mainly just school, and I feel like I'm kind of wasting my time with doing this, and it's not even really about anything else other than time to me, because time is something I cannot buy back. It's something that you can't buy back. Nobody can buy back time, and I feel like that's what I've been almost wasting at this point, going to school for potentially a dead career field. And I'm really nervous about taking this leap, and I'm not too sure if I'm gonna do it. I will post later on, sometime within the month, if I do actually end up doing it. But for those of you that are struggling with the same idea or the same kind of situation, just know we're all in it together. Everybody's affected by this. And yeah, just know that I'm here for you. So is other people that are going through the same thing right now. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.